Welcome back. In this presentation, we're going to talk about the Transtheoretical model, commonly also called the stages of change model. And I remember when I first came across this model, I was studying for the ACSM certification for the HFS. And I memorized the steps, I memorized the stages, but that's about as far as I went with it. I just memorized it, I never really applied it. So we're going to talk about what the stages are, how to apply it, and how to identify when you have a client in a specific stage. So the stages of change, they're pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, and maintenance. The catch is that clients don't always move from step 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. They sometimes revert to previous stages. They maybe skip stages or spend a day in a stage, or maybe they're in 2 stages at once. However, we always look at their behaviors, what are they presenting with that day, and what can I offer them with what they present most of the time to me. If we're just having a good day or a bad day, might not be a good day to decide which strategy we're going to use. So we're looking at what do they do most of the time. So stage 1, pre-contemplation. This is the client where mom said to come to see you. And the kid shows up and goes, my mom is making me come. I don't really want to work on this sport, or I don't really want to work on weight loss. And really a disengaged person. They're not even thinking about engaging with you. It's just that somebody probably made them come. So it's a forced engaged situation. So they don't have an intention to change. They might show up because somebody else asked them to or told them to, and that meant something to that other person. So what can we do at this phase? This person's probably not going to sign up to work with you. They're probably not going to stick around. They're probably not going to come to the gym or the facility on their own. So it's a good time just to get their own thoughts flowing. If you can provide them a handout, they might go home and read it. They might go home and throw it away. If you can find out what the client thinks of topics like exercise and nutrition or whatever it is you're providing, sometimes you can open some good dialogue there and just see what their barriers are and maybe start inching them towards the next phase of change if there's a good reason to go that way. And a lot of times people have myths. I know if I look at my own mom, she won't go to the gym. And she goes, weightlifting is bad for people. And, older generation, there's different thoughts and different processes and different experiences in life that lead them to have those thoughts. So sometimes if you can dispel some of those myths or give them information that might provide something contrary to what they already know or think from their life experiences, maybe they're willing to consider a new perception. This is not the time to use scare tactics. So if you say, hey, if you don't start working out, your blood pressure is going to be 400, you're going to die of a heart attack. No, these clients are not up for that. They will definitely never come back with using scare tactics. So not the time for that. Just a time to open some dialogue, see if you can get them to think about a new perspective. So moving on to stage 2, contemplation. How do you know that these clients are interested? Well, they actually are thinking about becoming more active. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but maybe 6 months from now. They're a little tricky to identify because they're acting as if and they're talking as if they're already taking action. So they have their clothes, they have their shoes, they're like, yeah, I'm going to go for a run, I'm going to sign up for this 5K. But they're actually not taking an action on it. They're not actually signing up for the 5K. They're not actually training for that 5K. They might buy a personal training session, they might schedule a fitness, nutrition, coaching kind of session, but they're not going to actually show up or they're not actually going to commit to it. So they're a little bit tricky to work with because you think they're ready to go, but they're not. So a lot of times you can ask them, what is the action that you are taking? When is it on your calendar? How important is this to you? Scale 1 to 10. Great. Give me the commitment. What is the date that you have committed to doing this? And a lot of times they'll go, oh, I don't know. I need to check my schedule. That's how you know they're in the contemplation phase. So how do you help these clients? You can help them weigh out some pros and cons because there's a good chance they've got some subconscious cons going on in their head and they haven't really examined them or thought about obstacles or barriers or moving forward. They might still have those myths that we talked about that are blocking them to moving forward. They might not be really motivated. They might talk as if they're motivated, but they might not actually have that true intrinsic motivation to show up and train for that 5K they talked about. This is a good time to invite them to things. So if you're running an education session or a free session or a charity workout, invite them. They may or may not show up. They may not be ready to commit, but it's a good time to get them thinking about it. And this is not the time to set goals. I know we've talked about goal setting before. If you're like, hey, let's commit to these SMART goals, they're not ready for that kind of detail yet. It'd be great if we could just get them to commit to a time and show up and do some activity. So then we move into phase 3, preparation. So I got my gym shoes, I'm talking as if I'm going to do something, and now I'm actually starting to move that barrier. I'm starting to budge that barrier. I'm like, yeah, within the next month, I am going to make a change. I've already started to rearrange my schedule. I've already found some daycare for my kids so I can work out. I believe that this is the right thing to do. I want to make these lifestyle changes. Um, they may not commit quite yet, but they're on the edge. They're ready to it, and they maybe can get them this month. So these are the clients where setting goals and timeframes is good. If they can understand, okay, this is a SMART goal and this is what it takes and this is what I need to do. If they don't understand the SMART goals and they don't understand the realistic timeframes, this is where these clients will start up and then they'll drop out. So if they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to lose 30 pounds, I'm going to commit to this. They show up at the gym, they take group fitness for a couple weeks and they go, I haven't lost any weight. They're going to drop out right away. So it's really important that they understand those realistic timeframes and what it takes to achieve their goals from the beginning. So these are great coaching clients. It's really great to ask them about previous success and figuring out, okay, how can those successes build a successful coaching relationship for us? These clients don't have great accountability, so if they can be accountable either to you or to a friend or to a family member, that really helps. And it's really, really, really important when we have those SMART goals. There's probably 50 changes that need to occur for them to achieve those goals. Only have them commit to 1 to 2 behavior changes at a time. I have behavior contracts with my clients, and they need to commit to 1 to 2 things, and they got to grade themselves on how that is going for them each week. If they're continuously getting a C or lower, then we just need a different goal, or we need to examine what are those obstacles and how do we get rid of those obstacles. So stage 4, these are the fun clients. They're committed to action. They've been working out. Maybe they've been a little inconsistent for the past 6 months. So these are ones that they realize this is beneficial. They want to get better. They realize there are barriers there, and sometimes, many times, clients don't have the strategies to get over those barriers. They're like, oh, I feel fatigued. I have a difficult work schedule. I travel a lot. I got to find time for my kids in there. I'm studying. I got 2 jobs. They need to be encouraged to be accountable to themselves. They need their self-efficacy built to believe that they're doing a good job and that they can continue to do this. These are great clients to invite to webinars and seminars, and it's also a really good time to look at goal setting and re-examine their goals. And this is also a good time to really look at those barriers. What is stopping you and what can we do instead? So, your daycare fell through. Okay, what can you do at home today so that you're committed to all the success that you've already put in? And then finally, we have the maintenance clients. These are also fun. They've been working out for 6 or more months. They may not realize that they need something new. We know physiologically after 6 weeks, your program is dropping off. Your body's not adapting anymore, so you have to change that after 6 weeks. That is really good to set up with them up front, that expectation that after 6 weeks, there's going to be diminished returns. Our neuromuscular system's adapted, our physiological system's adapted, our metabolic system's adapted, everything's adapted. So we really need to change that program every 6 months if you don't want to hit a plateau or if you want to get off that plateau you've been on. These clients sometimes do want to be more independent at this point. So these are great clients for those program updates. I'll meet with you once every 6 weeks. I'll do a program update, teach it to you. You go work on that for 6 weeks, come back to me. These are great clients for motivation and social support. If you have a team class, a lot of times they might be interested in joining that. They might have new obstacles, or they might still have some old obstacles. So talking to them about different strategies, such as your workout's a commitment to yourself. You must put it in your planner and you cannot cross it out. The challenge we run into with these guys is that they do relapse, they do quit. So you do have to continue to engage them. You have to consider new goals, and fine-tuning their program is absolutely critical at this point. If you're wondering where I just pulled this is from NASM's blog page. It's actually an article that I wrote in review for them. You can see some further information down here. So if you go to NASM blog on Google, and then you just Google my last name, you'll come up with this article. It was written for New Year's, but it can be applied at any time of the year. So thank you for engaging in this webinar, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.